Hi everyone, sorry I had a call coming in, so I decided to start over. I'm doing the next chapter of this book, Business Ethics. There's nothing such as business ethics. So John Maxwell is a New York Times best-selling author and I'm part of his team. He's focusing on the principle, do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. And today, in our church, it's a big celebration. We celebrate the solemnity of Our Lady of Guadalupe. So today with technology, I was able to watch Pope Francis's service. I was able to join in the consecration online. And I'm not going to do the whole chapter. I'm just going to do one point of this next chapter. 5 factors that can tarnish the golden rule. So he's basically looking at the first point, which is pressure, and how pressure can affect us, affect our lives, our health. It can affect earnings in a company. And that's when the ethics comes into play, because when companies are under a lot of pressure and they're just interested in making that next sale, that's when you find that they're not really caring about do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. They just want to make that next sale, or they just want to make that next mortgage. And I watched an interesting documentary on YouTube about how this financial crisis took place. And we had this situation where people were given mortgages, even if they didn't have any jobs, they didn't have any incomes, they didn't have any credit history. They were just given huge mortgages to buy loans, and whoever was able to touch on that mortgage basically earned some income from it. And how this created a situation that we went into where we had a bubble and then we had a Great Depression taking place in our world. So basically, nobody went to jail in that. There was one banker from Credit Suisse who went to jail, and there was another person who had picked up on it. He was a senior executive at Citigroup, and how he reported it, and everybody just ignored it. They just laughed it off, which is very similar to what's happened now at TD. All the executives are passing it on to the people at the front. But the people, us people working at the front, we are the ones who get all the pressure. We're the ones who get told, oh, look at your scores, look at this, look at that, and you're not meeting your targets. And if you don't meet those targets, you're not going to be on the team. So it's not fair of the executive to put all that pressure on the people in the front and then put a 24-year-old, call the feds and put a 24-year-old in jail. And say, oh, well, we did our duty, we reported it. No, you didn't actually, because you created that environment, and it's the executive here in Canada. It's not the executive in the US, because the safeguards that are put in place, it's a Canadian bank, it has to come from here. So it's very sad. I was crying in the church today when I'm thinking about what they're doing, because that's what they're doing. Instead of the executive taking responsibility, and this documentary shows it very clearly, they let them retire with millions, with big homes, with big cars, with vested shares. The tragedy that came out of the Enron scandal is that those executives actually knew it. They actually knew it, and they went into their cars and they committed suicide. Because when they saw the extent of what they had done and how it was going to affect not only their families, but the rest of the world, they had remorse. And they didn't want to go to jail. That's the difference between what happens in America and what happens in Canada. In Canada, they like to justify it. They like to say, oh, well, we did what we could. And they like to put the blame on us. And that's what I don't like about this country. The same way they started apartheid and they took it to the rest of the world, that's what they do. And that's what they've been doing to me since I came here. Since I came into Canada, that's what's been happening. And that's the pressure that I've been under. And it's not a nice pressure to be under. They say, oh, diamonds are created in the pressure. But yeah, you know what? Too much pressure can also break you. And that's what happened to me. And I had to use my essential oils. I had to talk to my doctor often. I had to get counseling. All because of all that unnecessary pressure that was put on me. People teasing me, making a joke out of a very serious situation. A situation that I was demanded to take to the Human Rights Commission by HSBC. With people saying from Credit Suisse, oh, the VP would just wanted to be her friend, after they knew that I said no. And it was in writing. It was sent in emails in writing. And on top of that, they accused me of defamation. It's very sad. And the police have told me this is not just happening to you. It is happening to numerous women, even women in the police force. It is happening. And they do it until you are forced to resign and you can't work anymore. And then if you're lucky, your family might find somebody to marry you off to, and then that person can treat you like dirt because you don't have your own income, you don't have your own rights, you can't work, and now they want to bring in this notion of sex workers. Give me a break. Since when is that okay? Since when did we move off a model of educating women and men and upgrading their skills and giving them proper jobs instead of putting them into situations where they're basically prostitutes, but in the name of making things look good, you're calling them a sex worker? There are women and men going from South Africa, from even Canada, going to India with the promise of good jobs, and when they get there, they find out that they're sex workers. How is that a just society and a fair society? It's not. And because the people at the top are earning their millions, they don't give a damn. They don't give a shit. Do you think they care? And for something like this to happen under Bharat Masrani, who knows, he knows what it's like to be kicked out of your country, to be discriminated against, to be forced to flee, for something like this to happen under his watch, it makes it even worse. It makes it even worse. Because it's not acceptable. It's not acceptable. And the same thing that happened with Made in Canada is now happening in England. The only difference is that in Canada, the churches got together with the bishops and the priests and the clergy and the lay people, and we stood up to it. In England, it's the doctors that are taking the initiative. If you look on X, you'll see all the doctors that are protesting it. And all the doctors that are saying, we are not willing to do this. We are not willing to end a life. We're here to save lives and we're here to help people. That's again another cultural difference between Canada and England. Canada does it for who? For the people who have the money. If I had the money and if I had even a little bit of money, they wouldn't be treating me the way they're treating me. But because they know I haven't got any money, I haven't got any property, that's why they're treating me the way they're treating me. Because even with the support of HSBC and filing those reports and filing everything, nothing came of it because their headquarters are in America. So now what goes around comes around. Because now the headquarters for what's happening with these young people in America, the headquarters are here. And do you think they have any compassion? Do you think these executives care and have any compassion for what they're spoiling a 24-year-old's life? Oh no, we reported it. You watch how they spin it on the news and how they spin it with their PR. And it's unacceptable because they created the environment. They knew what was happening. And our political leaders and our judges and everybody else should be putting pressure on the executive to stop that, what they're doing. It shouldn't be the 24-year-olds going to jail. They opened up the shell companies, they did this, they did that. Who created that environment? It's the executive that created. Just the same way they put pressure on me when I'm in a call center job to say you're not meeting your targets, look at this, look at that, listen to the tone, listen to the inflection in your voice, change your tone, change how you talk. Oh, you took 3 minutes longer to come back from your washroom break. I mean, since when? Since when? It's killing me. It's breaking my heart to see what they're doing to the young people. It's killing me. Even that young man that they said killed that CEO in America. I want to see how it all unfolds. Because yes, what he did was wrong. But what about millions of people are without medical coverage? Yes, I didn't go and pick up a gun and kill somebody. But millions of people, even in Canada, don't have dental, don't have drugs, don't have the support that they need in place. So, I mean, what's being created in this world is very interesting, because what's happening to me and what's happening to my friends, what's happening to people that we know, it's disgusting. We're being driven into poverty. And it's not just happening to people that are unskilled, it's happening to graduates. That's why when we volunteer and we do things, we put pressure on the executive, we put pressure on the political leaders. And we do it with the support of the church, because the church knows what's happening. When I write those emails to Marco Mendocino and to whoever, Justin Trudeau, about MAID and all that, I'm not doing it just like, oh yeah, who does she think she is? There's a directive coming from the leadership of the church to say you have to stand up to this. This is not the way we do things in the Christian community. And today, Donald Trump won that Person of the Year award. It's good. I'm very happy. Because I'm sick and tired of people saying, oh, respect everybody else's rights, respect everybody else's faith. Who respects my faith in this country? Why do I have to go around wearing a badge saying, oh, you can wish me Merry Christmas? I'm glad he won. It's good. And whatever changes he brings in, I hope they're going to be good for everyone. Good for Canada and good for America. And Justin Trudeau has no right to go around saying that, oh, they didn't support electing a woman. Who is he? Who is he? What has he done for me as a woman in this country? The American people voted for who they want to lead their country. If we want to work with them, we have to meet their tariffs. We have to meet what they're saying so that we don't have the tariffs put on us. If we don't want to work with them, then that's fine. Build relationships with other countries. But Justin Trudeau has no right to criticize what the American people voted for. And they voted it for a majority. And he got Robert Kennedy's support on his team. So you know what? For me, it's good. Because the amount of pressure they put on me is not normal. It's not normal. I mean, if it was 1 year or 2 years, it would be different. For 11 years, they wouldn't give me a permanent job. And then when I did get a permanent job, it was minimum wage. It was minimum wage. Even though I told him when I wanted my mortgage renewed, I've got an elderly mother, she's a widow, I'm working, they would not budge. They would not budge 1 inch. And that's how women get treated here. And if you're a visible minority, it's worse. And then they say, oh yeah, we were only joking. Why don't you make a joke about yourself and your own life instead of making a joke about other people? That would actually be better. Because I have been under so much pressure. Every month it's the same thing. Every month I can't pay my bills. Every month there's not enough to put food on the table. Every month it's the same thing. And people get jobs in this country because of who you know, not because of what you know and not because of what a good job you've done. It's because of who you know and who can open that door for you to go work in Singapore or to go back to England or to go work in America. It's because of who you know and which family you're coming from and who's giving support to which family members. And normally, instead of the one without the father or the mother getting the support, the ones that get the support are the ones with two parents. That's what happens. And it's supposed to be the complete opposite. It's supposed to be the marginalized, the vulnerable. We are the ones who are supposed to get the support, but we don't. So now it's good. I hope the church continues to put the pressure on the government. I hope the doctors continue to put the pressure on the government in England for this MAID. And I hope that the things that Donald Trump puts in place will benefit people like me who've had nothing but terrible experiences. Because for most of the time I've been in Canada, my experience has not been a good one. It just has not been. And that's just the reality. And the Jesuits know it. The Jesuits know it. Whether it's in Ireland or England or here or America, they know it. And it's time that things changed. Do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. It's time.